What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Or welcome if it's your first time here. If you like videos about prepping, survival, self-reliance, and other related topics, then be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on, be notified each time that I upload a new video. I've been sitting here for about 45 minutes now, debating whether or not I should make this video and upload this to YouTube, simply because of the subject matter. You know, when you talk about politics or religion, it draws out a lot of heated opinions, and a lot of people are just looking for an opportunity to pounce and to try to disagree, I think, just for the privilege of disagreeing. It gives them some kind of excitement or gratification, I think, to disagree. In fact, a lot of people that have disagreed with my videos have actually agreed with what I said in the video. They will read the title, or they will read the title and watch maybe 3 or 4 minutes of a video without actually getting the whole scope of what I'm trying to say. Then they'll go down in the comments, I disagree, and then repeat, or essentially repeat, what I said in the video. So they're saying that they disagree while just simply repeating what I said in the video, so it's obvious that they didn't watch the video. But yet, they think they know enough about what I said to go post a negative comment. So before you go post negative comments, actually watch the video and listen to what I have to say and think about it with an open mind. Okay, with that said, let's take a look at this article on Politico. Now, if you don't know, Politico is a mouthpiece of the Operation Mockingbird mainstream media. Look into Operation Mockingbird and you will see what the mainstream media is and why they repeat the same narratives over and over again across the board, because they're trying to get that single message into people's brain. And if you repeat something enough, then people will believe it. So this right here, anything they say, no. And from any mainstream media source, understand that it is coming directly from the propagandists in the deep state here in the United States. Politico 2024 elections. After Trump's New Hampshire win, Biden gets opponent he wants. And that's the narrative they've been trying to push in the Nikki Haley ads also. So you see how they're kind of connected. Every time I go into YouTube, I've seen the same ad, or just probably 80% of the time. Every video I watch is a Nikki Haley ad. And it talks about essentially that Donald Trump is the weakest candidate against Joe Biden. And that's what they're trying to push right here. So you see where the narratives are coming from her campaign and Biden's campaign, from the same talking head mouthpieces. Because they're trying to push the same thought process, that Joe Biden wants Donald Trump to be the Republican nominee because Donald Trump is the weakest candidate. And they're trying to push the same narrative through Nikki Haley's ads I've been seeing here on YouTube. With that said, let's take a look at what the Operation Mockingbird mainstream media here at Politico has to say about this selection or election so far. The president's campaign gears up for a Trump rematch. And according to them, this right here is the president, old Joe. I highlighted a few different points here I want to talk about. And the first one, this one right here. Those aides, this is talking about Biden, aides to Joe Biden and his campaign. Those aides believe that Trump poses a far greater threat to the nation's democracy than any of his Republican rivals would. And they've been repeating this over and over and over again for the last few years. Our democracy, our democracy. A pure democracy is what they want, because they control, in my opinion, the elections, the outcome of the elections. So, with a pure democracy, they can have an election for anything they want. And it doesn't matter about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. You have no rights. It's a democracy. So if they want to have, for example, an election in a pure democracy to get rid of white males, to, say, castrate white males, they could theoretically do that. That's what a pure democracy is. And that's why they keep pushing this democracy concept all the time in the media and repeat it over and over and over again, because they want you to believe it's a democracy, a pure democracy. And I've even heard, a lot of conservative talk show hosts and things call this a democracy. And the United States is a constitutional republic. or at least it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be protected with constitutional rights. The constitutional rights, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, are supposed to be the supreme law of the land that cannot be changed. It's supposed to protect the minority against the majority that you would have in a pure democracy. We have the Bill of Rights. We have the Constitution. So we are a constitutional republic. The Constitution is the law of the land, or at least it's supposed to be. But they want us to think we have a democracy so they can vote on whatever they want, get whatever they want. And that completely bypasses the Constitution because it's a democracy. But it's not a democracy. A democracy gives them more power, more control, more authority to do what they want, to manipulate the system, to rig the system to get what they want. The Constitution is there to protect the country, to protect the minority against this overreaching power grab that we see right now. However, it's not really working all that great, unfortunately, because we have corrupt government. We have corrupt courts, all the way up to the Supreme Court, in my opinion. So this is not a democracy. And we don't vote for leaders. We vote for representatives. We are a constitutional republic that votes for representatives. But those representatives that we vote for are supposed to be bound by the laws and by what's written in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights that the United States was founded on. They're supposed to be held to that, and they're sent as our representatives to represent us and our states and our communities. But they want us to think these people are our leaders and not representatives, because leaders lead and we follow. You bow down to a leader. The United States was never meant to have leaders. We're meant to have representatives, like I said. Constitutional republic that we vote for representatives. But people don't understand that, and they keep repeating this over and over and over again, that we have a democracy. Because that's what they want you to believe, so they keep repeating it, hoping that you will believe that. And I see that definitely happening right now. More and more people think we are a democracy. And they will even argue that we are a democracy, when in fact we are a constitutional republic that votes for representatives. Or at least that's the way it's supposed to be. This next one in here, Trump must still clear legal hurdle before he can become GOP's presumptive nominee. The Supreme Court is expected on February 8th to hear arguments on whether states can use the Constitution's Fourth Amendment. So you want to go with the Constitution now because it fits their benefit to keep him from the ballot. And we already seen how the Supreme Court ruled about Texas. You know, Texas National Guard and Texas State Police have been putting up razor wire and barriers at the border to slow this flow of illegals coming across, and they're trying to stop it at the state level. Well, Joe Biden and his administration went and sued Texas, saying they had no right to protect their own borders. And apparently, the Supreme Court agrees with Joe Biden. So don't rely on the Supreme Court to make the right decisions. They may say the states can do this. We saw this in a few states already where they tried to remove Donald Trump from the ballot from even running at all. But, you know, they're for democracy. And Trump's a threat to democracy. But here, they're doing this to try to destroy democracy. A member of the Biden campaign's National Advisory Board said the electoral map this year will look a lot like it did in 2020 and 2016. It will be another relatively close election, he said. But with a fast improving economy and Trump as the GOP nominee, I feel very good about Biden's chances. So they're still saying that we have a great economy, that Biden has made a great economy. And I want you to think in the comments below, do you think the economy's great? Have you seen great improvements in the economy? Have you seen manufacturing pick up? Have you seen more plants being built in your location? Have you seen more jobs created? Are you seeing less inflation? Are you seeing less national debt? I mean, what are you seeing as far as the economy goes where you are? And what do you think? Do you think that we have this fast improving, surging economy under Joe Biden? Do you think that the economy is so much better now under Joe Biden than it was under Donald Trump? I mean, compare, look back, think about it. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the economy right now. But they're running on that Joe Biden has greatly improved the economy, that the economy in the United States is actually booming. And that's one of their talking points. I don't see it. What do you think? Everybody's reading into how strong he is. I think if you really look at it, this is a much weaker candidacy than it was in 2020. And again, remember, this is Politico. This is the talking head CIA Operation Mockingbird mainstream media. So they're saying Trump is a lot weaker now than what he was the first time around. Trump has long been fuel for Biden, who repeatedly said he ran for president in 2020 because he was horrified by the danger Trump posed to the nation. In a series of speeches this month, Biden has signaled both democracy and abortion rights will be among the cornerstones of his campaign. So apparently he's going to be running on democracy and the threat that Trump, Republicans, people who believe in the Bible, people who own guns, the mega crowd has been a threat to democracy. He's going to be running against those people pretty much. He's going to be running on abortion rights and his great booming economy, apparently. It is now clear that Donald Trump will be the Republican nominee, and my message to the country is the stakes cannot be higher, he said in a statement. Our democracy, so they keep repeating democracy over and over and over again because they want to put it in your mind that we are a democracy because that gives them more power, like I said. Our democracy, our personal freedoms, like Joe Biden is all for our freedoms, and we know better. In my opinion, neither side is for our freedoms. From the right to choose to the right to vote, our economy, which has been the strongest recovery in the world since COVID, are all at stake. So if Joe Biden doesn't get elected again, we're going to lose our democracy. The economy is going to crash. The economy is improving, and people are feeling it. Are you feeling it? I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling any improvement at all, and I'm sure most people aren't with this inflation. Biden has an affirmative message, and Trump is about to remind independents why they voted against him in 2020 by campaigning from a courtroom. So they're going to try to keep him in court all the time, and we see this already happening right now. It has been for a while. But Biden has vulnerabilities too. Polls show Americans have not given him credit for the nation's economic recovery and continue to be angry about inflation. Is the inflation part of the economy? Is the national debt that's now over $34 trillion, is that part of the economy? Apparently, they consider it separate, but inflation is definitely part of the economy, and it's definitely hurting people's wallets, hurting people's lifestyle and way of life, and making things much more difficult with this inflation. It keeps growing and growing and growing, and that's because they keep printing and printing and printing and adding onto the national debt. His age remains an issue. A congressional deal on the southern border remains elusive, and migrants continue to overwhelm many cities. His advisors believe that Trump's name on the ballot will be enough of an incentive for some to turn out to simply vote against Donald Trump. Now, I'm sure now at this point, some of you all are saying that this guy on this video here, talking about me, is a obviously huge Trump supporter and a Trump worshiper, part of the Trump cult. And if you watch my videos I've made in the past, you know it's simply not the case. I try to see things as they actually are. I try not to have any political rose-colored glasses on, and I try to see how things are and talk about how things actually are, not how I want them to be and not how some political candidate is telling me that they are. I try to see things objectively as they actually are. And you know, if you watch my videos in the past, I've definitely had some criticisms of Donald Trump, like pushing the red flag laws, for example. Donald Trump said out of his own mouth, take the guns first, worry about due process later. And he was for nationwide red flag laws. He was for bump stock bans. He was for Operation Warp Speed. He said he was going to arrest Hillary Clinton if he was elected. And he got elected, and one of the first things he done was praise Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton about what great people they were and how honored he was to have them in his inauguration. He has done lots of different things, and I've disagreed with, and I've talked about those here on this channel too. But like I said, I try to report things and try to see things objectively and how they actually are. I'm definitely not a Joe Biden fan, but I definitely have some issues with some of the things Donald Trump has done, some of the things Donald Trump has said, and some of the policies that Donald Trump has tried to push, namely trying to push those red flag laws and those bump stock bans. Take the guns. Worry about due process later. That's not the way things work. That's not the way the United States is supposed to work. That's not the way the legal system is supposed to work. But he was all for that. He was for, like I said, Operation Warp Speed that allowed all of this. And, several different issues I've disagreed on in the past. And I'm not going to go into all of this here right now because this isn't about whether or not I agree with everything Donald Trump says or not. I'm just trying to explain to people who's going to be in the comments doing this that I had and have and will continue to have issues with some of Donald Trump's policies and the things he has said. Another thing I didn't like a bit when Donald Trump was in office and he was president, he had Henry Kissinger, which is a swamp creature from hell. Henry Kissinger always has been. And that was before Henry Kissinger passed away, I think 100 years old. That Trump was talking to Henry Kissinger, and he was telling the people there that Henry Kissinger had been a lifelong friend, had been a lifelong mentor, and a role model for Donald Trump. He said it out of his own mouth about Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger is the swamp. And if you're going to drain the swamp, you can't be caressing the swamp unless you're part of that swamp. Think about it. Anyway, don't you think in the comments below if you liked the video, get a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and the Creekmore Matter, and I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.